The stars over Earth were quiet that night. The sky glowed faintly with satellites and distant stations, but something felt different, like the universe itself was holding its breath. Commander Elena Voss stood on the observation deck of the orbital defense platform Erebus, watching the endless dark. Her hands were still, her eyes fixed on a strange ripple of light far beyond the moon's shadow. "Tracking anomaly at Sector E7, reported Lieutenant Harris. "It's not one of ours," Elena frowned. "Show me." The holographic screen bloomed before them, showing a distortion, a shimmering gate slowly opening in the void. Then came the ships, massive, elegant, and alien. They were made of living metal, glowing blue veins pulsing across their hulls. The system scanners screamed warnings as each vessel dwarfed the biggest human dreadnoughts. "Unknown fleet entering orbit," Harris whispered. "I count 20. No, 30 ships." Earth command channels went silent. The fleet wasn't attacking yet. They just hung there above the planet as if staring down in judgment. On the surface, across the major cities, every screen flickered to life. The signal bypassed all networks, an alien broadcast. A tall figure appeared, cloaked in white and gold armor, its face hidden behind a crystal visor. The voice that came through was calm, elegant, and cold. "People of Earth, we are the Galactic Dominion. We come not for war, but for correction. You once belonged to the Galactic Order, long forgotten. We have returned to restore the balance you abandoned." No one understood what it meant, but deep inside, humanity felt something was wrong. Over the next few days, their fleet spread across the solar system. They didn't fire weapons. Instead, they began collecting. Entire orbital colonies were seized. Thousands of humans vanished. Families, engineers, and most heartbreakingly, children. At first, the media called it relocation. But leaked transmissions from Mars revealed the truth. The Valkyran weren't guardian, they were enslavers. The captured children were being transported to distant worlds, forced into labor and experimentation. Elena read the report in silence, her jaw tight. Around her, officers whispered in disbelief. "They're taking children, Commander. Human children." Her hand trembled, but her voice was steady. "Transmit this to Earth Command. Every detail. No filters." Within hours, the world erupted. From the deserts of Australia to the towers of New York, anger filled the air. The Galactic Council, now revealed to be complicit with the Valkyran, issued a cold warning. Earth must not interfere. These measures are lawful under ancient accords. Ancient accords, signed before humans could even reach the stars. But Earth was no longer helpless. Hidden deep beneath Antarctica, in a base no alien sensor had ever found, a silent fleet waited. Ships forged not of steel but dark matter composites, AI-piloted warships that could fold gravity and light. The Aegis Protocol, humanity's ultimate secret. It had been built in the shadows after the first alien war, a promise never to be used unless Earth faced extinction. But this was different. This was personal. Elena stood before the holographic table as her officers awaited her command. The chamber was silent except for the hum of reactors deep below. "How many have they taken?" she asked. 73,000 confirmed, answered Major Dren. "Most under 12 years old." Elena's eyes burned. "And Earth Command? They want negotiations." A bitter laugh escaped her lips. "Negotiate with slavers?" She turned toward the holographic star map. "No, we take them back." Her words echoed like a strike of thunder. The officers looked at one another, fear mixed with something else. Pride. Humanity had been patient, forgiving, always looking for peace. But every civilization had a limit, and the Valkyran had crossed it. Orders spread through secret channels. The Aegis fleet powered up in silence, hidden beneath ice and ocean. Drones carried encrypted messages across the colonies, a call to every soldier, every engineer, every pilot: Earth stands together. Meanwhile, in the outer system, the Valkyran High Command received a strange transmission. It was a human voice, distorted by static. "Return them, or we'll come for you." The alien overseer, an ancient being named Serthal, tilted his head. He saw humans as primitives, emotional, chaotic, easily broken. "They still believe they can fight us," he murmured to his attendants. "So be it. Let them try." But as his fleet turned its gaze toward Earth again, the sensors detected something impossible. A pulse, deep, rhythmic, growing stronger. The gravity wells near Neptune shifted unnaturally. Space itself bent like liquid. High-energy signature detected, cried one of his lieutenants. Source unknown. Then in a burst of blue-white light they appeared. Dozens of enormous ships, silent and dark, emerging from folded space. Their hulls absorbed light like black mirrors, yet glowed faintly from within, as if stars themselves burned inside them. The dark matter fleet had awakened. Elena's voice came through every ship, calm but full of fire. For every child they took, we'll make them remember what it means to fear humanity. The command was given. Engines roared, light bent, and the void trembled as Earth's hidden fleet prepared to strike back. The stars were no longer quiet. The universe was about to remember the fury of humankind. The silence after the fleet's awakening didn't last long. Across the solar system, encrypted signals began to flow between ships and outposts once believed dormant. The Aegis command network was alive again. Humanity's last and most secret defense system, hidden for decades, was now preparing for war. Commander Elena Voss stood before the massive tactical screen aboard the flagship Horizon Dawn. It hovered above the Antarctic ice, hidden beneath the storm clouds. The fleet's systems pulsed with quiet power. The dark matter reactors glowed like hearts ready to beat again. Status report, she said. Fleet synchronization complete, replied Major Dren. 36 Titan-class dreadnoughts online. 200 escorts operational. Quantum shields stable. Weapons, ready? Elena nodded, but her mind wasn't at ease. And the children? There was a pause. Lieutenant Harris looked down. Still missing, Commander. But we found something. A transmission. He pressed a key and a faint hologram appeared above the table. A shaky video signal. A group of children huddled together inside a metallic chamber. Their clothes were torn, eyes wide with fear. Behind them, alien machinery hummed, glowing blue tubes filled with energy. A robotic voice echoed through the static. Subject classification complete. Species Homo sapiens. Genetic resilience exceptional. Reprogramming initiated. Elena's hand clenched into a fist. Where was this recorded? Outer Rim Sector. Valkaran Research World. Codename Vareth 9. The officers exchanged glances. Vareth 9. One of the most fortified planets in Valkaran territory. It was where the Dominion broke species and turned them into servitors. Major Dren exhaled slowly. Commander, attacking Vareth 9 is suicide. It's beyond the Council's reach. Even if we send the fleet, they'll detect us long before we arrive. Elena looked at the image again, the terrified faces of the children. Then we don't go as soldiers. We go as ghosts. She turned to the AI core interface beside her. The holographic avatar of Athena, the fleet's central AI, shimmered into view. A calm female form made of light. Athena, Elena said, prepare Operation Shadowfall. We need stealth insertion capability, full dark mode. Confirmed, the AI replied. All systems will enter electromagnetic silence. Quantum drive masking engaged. Estimated time to Vareth 9, 60 hours. The chamber filled with a low hum as the fleet began to phase shift. One by one, the massive warships disappeared into folds of light, vanishing from every scanner in existence. Meanwhile, far away, the Valkaran Dominion celebrated what they believed was humanity's surrender. Their High Council gathered inside the Crystal Palace orbiting the star Atheron Prime. Serthal, the overseer, watched the feeds showing the conquered colonies. Humans were always reckless, he said calmly. They'll destroy themselves before they touch us. But his advisor, a thin, silver-skinned alien named Kreth, frowned. My lord, the outer scanners detected gravitational anomalies near the Sol system. A pattern. Serthal interrupted him with a wave of his hand. Coincidence. They are children of dust, not gods. Yet deep down, even he felt unease. He had seen human defiance before, and it always came with a price. The Horizon Dawn emerged from the void above a red-tinged world. The surface was covered in sprawling alien factories, shining towers surrounded by massive containment rings. Blue lightning flashed from the ground to the orbiting stations powering something below. Elena stood on the bridge, watching the planet rotate beneath them. So this is where they hide their crimes. Athena's voice came through the speakers. Confirmed. Energy readings match those from the transmission. I detect 82,000 life signatures. Human. The crew froze. 82,000. That meant there were more captives than anyone imagined. Can we get them out? Elena asked. Possibly, Athena replied, but the planet is shielded by plasma fields. Direct attack will kill the captives. We must disable the planetary core first. Major Dren spoke carefully. Commander, that means sending someone down there. Elena's eyes hardened. Then we send me. The room went silent. Harris shook his head. With respect, Commander, you can't. I can, Elena said sharply. And I will. This isn't about command. It's about humanity. They took our children, our future. I'm not hiding behind metal walls while others bleed. Her decision was final. Within the hour, a small insertion team assembled, 5 elite soldiers, equipped with adaptive armor and nanite cloaks. Their ship, Echo Wing, was barely the size of a shuttle but carried more tech than an entire battleship. It could vanish between light and shadow. As the shuttle descended through the planet's red clouds, lightning cracked around them. Alien sirens wailed in the distance. Below, massive alien constructs reached toward the sky like claws. Inside the shuttle, Elena adjusted her visor. Once we reach the surface, we find the captives. No matter what happens, we get them out. The team landed near an abandoned ridge. The ground shimmered with alien metal. Strange insect-like machines scuttled nearby, scanning the area. The soldiers moved silently, their suits blending with the surroundings. Through her visor feed, Elena saw it. The facility from the transmission. Rows of transparent cells filled with children suspended in blue light, connected to machines that drained their energy. Her heart pounded. They're using them as batteries, she whispered, feeding off their neural energy. Then came a sound, a heavy metallic roar. A massive guardian construct rose from the shadows, its body made of molten glass and armor. Dozens of glowing eyes turning toward them. Contact, shouted Dren. The machine lunged, firing beams of plasma. The ground exploded around them as the team scattered. Elena rolled behind a pillar, her pulse rifle glowing faintly. Athena, we need cover fire. Negative, replied the AI. Revealing our fleet will expose the mission. You're on your own. The Guardian roared again, charging. Elena fired at its joints, aiming for weak points. Sparks flew, metal screamed, and finally the machine collapsed, shaking the ground. Smoke and silence followed. Elena looked back at the cages, where the children stared in confusion and hope. She stepped closer, placing her hand on the glass. It's okay, she said softly. You're going home. Then her communicator flared with static. Commander, Athena said, her voice sharp. Valkyran reinforcements incoming. Hundreds of ships. Elena turned to her team. We're not leaving yet. We have what we came for. She stared at the rising storm of alien light in the sky and smiled faintly. Let them come. Earth is watching now. The alien skies over Vareth 9 burned red. Commander Elena Voss watched as her team guided the rescued children toward the stealth shuttle. The facility behind them was in flames, human flames. The kind that no alien machine could ever understand. The fire of defiance. Last group secured, shouted Major Dren through the comms. We have them all, Commander. Elena nodded, her armor cracked and smoke-streaked. Then we're leaving now. But above them the clouds began to swirl. The light dimmed as shadows of massive alien ships blotted out the sun. The Valkyran reinforcements had arrived, and they were not coming to negotiate. Dozens of dreadnoughts descended, their energy beams slicing across the sky. Each shot burned holes in the planet's crust, sending shockwaves through the atmosphere. Athena's voice cut through the static. Commander, orbital bombardment has begun. Recommend immediate evacuation. Understood, Elena replied. Activate full stealth. Bring the Horizon Dawn into orbit. The stealth shuttle lifted off as explosions followed them upward. From orbit, Elena could see Vareth 9 breaking apart under its own chaos. Alien factories collapsing, their twisted towers falling like burning glass. They had saved the children, but they had also started a war. Back on Earth, deep beneath the frozen continent, the Aegis command chamber pulsed with life. The recovered children were being transported to safety, while the entire fleet returned from shadow mode. Holographic displays showed alien fleets moving toward the solar system like waves of fire. The room fell silent as Elena appeared on the central screen, her face bruised but eyes burning with purpose. We found them, she said, her voice steady. 82,000 human children. Enslaved, tortured, turned into energy sources. The Valkyran called it genetic refinement. Gasps echoed across the chamber. No one spoke. Elena continued. They're coming for us now. They know we're no longer silent. We don't have much time. General Ryden, the highest-ranking Earth commander, leaned forward. Commander Voss, do you realize what you've done? Yes, she replied calmly. I showed the galaxy that humanity still has teeth. He hesitated, then smiled faintly. Good. Then let's show them what fear feels like. In the far reaches of space, the Galactic Council assembled in their luminous citadel. Overseer Serthal stood before a massive projection of Earth's star system. The display glowed red. War zone designation. Humanity has broken the accords, hissed one of the counselors. They have declared themselves outside the law. Serthal's voice was cold. Then they shall face extinction, he gestured to his attendants. Deploy the cleansing fleets. Target their moon bases first. I want Earth isolated before their primitive fleets can react. Kreth, his cautious advisor, hesitated. My lord, the human vessels that attacked Vareth 9 were unusual. Our sensors could not read their material composition. Their energy patterns are irrelevant, Serthal interrupted. We are the Dominion. They are dust. But as he spoke, one of the crystal orbs beside him began to flicker. A transmission forced its way into their secure channel. Human code. A familiar face appeared bathed in blue light. Commander Elena Voss. To the Galactic Dominion, she said calmly. You crossed a line that can never be undone. You took our children. You thought we'd kneel. This is your warning. Leave Earth or we'll come for every world you own. The message ended in silence. The council chambers erupted with outrage, blasphemy, insanity. Destroy her! But Serthal only stared at the fading hologram. For the first time in his long life, he felt something he hadn't in centuries. Unease. 2 days later, the first Valkyran assault fleet entered the solar system. They came through folded space, hundreds of warships glowing with dark blue energy. Every planet trembled as their arrival waves rippled through gravity fields, but something strange awaited them. Space itself shimmered with faint lines of light, invisible walls surrounding Earth's orbit. Contact, reported one alien captain. Unknown field detected. Unable to advance, Serthal's voice came from the flagship. Disrupt it. The lead ship fired a barrage of plasma at the invisible barrier and vanished. Not exploded, not destroyed, and just gone, erased from existence. What was that? Screamed the helmsman, and then they saw it. A massive dark silhouette emerging behind the veil, black and silver, glowing faintly with a burning blue heart. The human dreadnought Horizon Dawn had arrived, flanked by hundreds of ships. Their appearance was silent yet terrifying. No energy spikes, no heat signatures, only presence. Elena stood on the bridge watching as the alien fleet scrambled in confusion. Transmit the message, she ordered. A signal pulsed across the void, and every Valkyran ship received the same human voice. This is Earth Command. You have violated human territory. Leave now, or face judgment. For the first time, alien sensors detected emotion in a human broadcast. Not fear, not panic, but calm fury on the alien flagship. Serthal's hands tightened around his staff. Fire everything, he hissed. Thousands of plasma cannons roared, filling the darkness with blue fire. Energy storms crossed the void, crashing against the invisible human barrier. But none of them touched the fleet. Then came Earth's reply. Dozens of Titan-class ships turned toward the Valkyran armada. The dark matter reactors flared, bending gravity itself, and with a single command from Elena, fire! The void turned white. No explosions, no sound, just pure light, swallowing everything in its path. When the brilliance faded, hundreds of alien warships were gone, leaving only drifting fragments behind. Inside the Horizon Dawn, silence filled the command deck. Elena stared at the wreckage with cold eyes. Transmit our message to the entire galaxy, she said. Athena's hologram flickered to life. Message ready, Commander. To all who stand with the Valkyran, Elena's voice echoed through the stars. This is your only warning. Earth remembers, and we never forgive. Far across the galactic core, millions of alien transmissions froze mid-broadcast. The galaxy had heard humanity's voice, a warning wrapped in thunder. And in that silence, somewhere deep within the stars, Even the mighty Galactic Dominion began to feel something new. Fear. The light from the destroyed Valkyran fleet faded slowly, leaving behind drifting debris glowing in silence. The stars were calm again, but the galaxy was not. The battle near Earth had changed everything. For the first time in recorded history, the Dominion had lost. Across the galactic core, transmissions spread faster than light. Reports of human ships that vanished from scanners, of weapons that bent reality, and of dreadnoughts that moved like shadows. Entire worlds were whispering one word that hadn't been spoken in centuries: humans. Inside the great hall of the Galactic Council, chaos reigned. Thousands of alien representatives filled the circular chamber, their voices echoing through the marble-white architecture. Holographic displays showed the ruins of the Valkyran armada and the single human fleet that had done the impossible. "This cannot be true," cried the envoy of Threxia, his voice trembling. "The humans were primitives. They had barely reached the stars." "Primitive or not," hissed the scaled Empress of Vor, "they just destroyed one of the Dominion's grand fleets without a single loss." Silence followed her words. Even the council guards looked uneasy. At the center of the chamber, High Chancellor Mavrek, an ancient being of silver light, raised his hand. "Order," he said softly. "We must remain calm." "Calm?" shouted another delegate. "You signed treaties with the Valkyran. You let them enslave a developing species, and now those same humans have returned with weapons beyond our science." Mavrek's voice deepened. "We acted under law." "Law?" Someone barked. "You mean greed." The council that once ruled 1,000 worlds now stood on the edge of collapse. Alliances cracked. Fear spread. The galaxy was dividing. Far from the council world, in the outer rim colonies, small rebel factions began to rise. Species once loyal to the Dominion now questioned everything. Some sent secret messages to Earth. Others simply disappeared into deep space, refusing to serve the Empire any longer. Humanity had become a symbol, not of terror, but of freedom. On Earth, the Aegis fleet was now fully awake. Every factory worked day and night building new ships. The children rescued from Vareth 9 were recovering in safe stations, watched over by doctors and teachers. The world that once feared the stars now looked at them with resolve. Commander Elena Voss stood inside the Horizon Dawn's command deck, gazing at the rotating hologram of the galaxy. Red zones marked Valkyran strongholds. Blue lights marked growing rebel sectors. Major Dren entered quietly. "Council transmissions intercepted," he said. "Half the member species are demanding an investigation into the Dominion's actions." Elena nodded. "And the other half?" "They want our destruction." She smiled faintly. "Of course they do." Athena's holographic form flickered beside her. "Commander, I've completed analysis of the recovered data from Vareth 9. You need to see this." A projection appeared, alien files written in strange code. As Athena translated, the officers leaned closer. It wasn't just slavery. It was experimentation. The Valkyran had been using human DNA to create hybrid soldiers, faster, stronger, more obedient. They wanted to turn humans into weapons. Elena's expression darkened. "So that's why they took the children. They weren't just using them. They were trying to become us." The room went still. Everyone understood what that meant. The Valkyran feared humanity's resilience so much they tried to copy it. Meanwhile, on Atheron Prime, Overseer Serthal watched the ruins of his lost fleet in silence. His generals knelt before him, heads bowed. The once arrogant ruler looked older, his armor dimmer. "Millions of years of order," he murmured, "undone by a species that barely learned to leave their own sky." "Kreth," his advisor stepped forward cautiously. "My lord, the council fractures. Many worlds speak of rebellion. They say the humans are unstoppable." Serthal's eyes flared. "Nothing is unstoppable." He turned to the strategic map hovering before him. "If the council abandons us, then we burn what remains. Prepare the Oblivion Directive." Kreth froze. "That would destroy entire sectors." "Do it," Serthal snapped. "If we cannot rule, then no one shall." In orbit above Earth, alarms sounded across the Horizon Dawn. "Athena," Elena said sharply. "Report." "Massive energy surge detected near the galactic core," replied the AI. "Valkyran Command has initiated something catastrophic. It's affecting space-time." The holographic map changed, showing expanding red waves sweeping across star systems. One by one, suns began to dim. "They're collapsing stars," whispered Lieutenant Harris. "They're using star cores as weapons." Elena clenched her fists. "How much time until it reaches us?" 60 hours, Athena answered. "If it continues, the chain reaction will wipe out a third of the galaxy." Major Dren's voice broke the silence. "We need help. Even our fleet can't stop a stellar implosion." Elena looked at the map again, at the fractured council, the scattered rebels, the worlds still enslaved. Humanity alone couldn't save everyone. But maybe, just maybe, they could unite those who still had hope. "Send a transmission to the Galactic Council," she ordered. "Ma'am?" Harris hesitated. "They may not listen." "They will," Elena said quietly, "because this time we're not asking." Hours later, every major broadcast channel in the galaxy suddenly froze. The image of Commander Elena Voss appeared across millions of screens. Behind her, the Earth glowed blue and proud. "To every world watching," she said, her voice calm but heavy, "you've all seen what the Valkyran have done, not just to us, but to countless others. They call it order. We call it slavery. They've started a chain of destruction that will consume everything. Your homes, your stars, your children. We don't ask for allegiance. We ask for courage. Stand with us or watch your skies burn." Her words spread like fire through the void. Across alien worlds, millions watched in silence. Some laughed. Some cried. But others, the tired, the broken, the enslaved, whispered the same words. "Stand with Earth." In the council chamber, the debate ended. Half of the delegates stood and walked out, joining independent factions. The rest stayed behind, fearful and uncertain. The great galactic order had finally fractured. The divide was complete. And somewhere beyond the rim of known space, the human fleet began to move again, faster, stronger, angrier. Elena looked out the viewport of the horizon dawn, her reflection gleaming against the starlight. "The galaxy chose its side," she said softly. "Now we'll choose ours." Athena's voice replied gently. "Where do we strike first?" Elena's eyes hardened. "Where it all began. The Valkyran homeworld." The stars ahead shimmered like a promise and a warning. Humanity was coming, and this time there would be no mercy. The galaxy was no longer silent. Every corner of the void hummed with tension, rebellions breaking out on distant worlds, fleets moving in secret, and whispers spreading like wildfire. Humanity fights back. From the frozen moons of Threxia to the burning deserts of Vor, alien slaves looked to the sky and saw a new light, one that wasn't Valkyran blue, but human white and gold. Humanity had become the symbol of resistance. In the command deck of the Horizon Dawn, Commander Elena Voss stood before a vast holographic map of the galaxy. Dozens of new symbols blinked across the chart, signals from races rising up against the Dominion. Major Dren entered quietly, carrying a data tablet. "Reports are coming in. The Vor legions have rebelled. The Krail fleets turned against their masters. Even the Threxians have joined us." Elena didn't smile. She couldn't. Too many lives had already been lost. "Transmit to all of them," she said. "Tell them we stand together. No species left behind." Athena's hologram flickered beside her, voice calm as ever. "Commander, combined forces now exceed 5,000 ships. You've started something that's spreading faster than light itself." Elena looked out the viewport. The stars shimmered against the curve of Earth below. "No," she said softly. "We've started something, all of us." Meanwhile, in the Valkyran citadel, Overseer Sirthal stared at the reports flooding in from across his empire. Every sector screamed rebellion. Supply lines gone. Colonies lost. He slammed his staff into the crystal floor. "Impossible. They are nothing without our control." Kreth, his advisor, bowed his head. "They were nothing, my lord, until humans gave them hope." Sirthal glared. "Hope? Hope does not win wars. Fear does." But even as he spoke, the palace walls shook. Outside, the sky above Atheron Prime filled with explosions, rebel fleets piercing through orbital defenses. For the first time in 1,000 years, the Dominion's home system was under attack. Back on the Horizon Dawn, the command room came alive with activity. Dozens of screens showed rebel ships joining formation around the human fleet. Different designs, different technologies, yet all united by one cause. The radio buzzed with voices of dozens of languages. Athena translated in real time. "Threxian battleclaws reporting, and for our children. Krail firewings online, ready to strike." Vor heavy cruisers aligned with Earth Command. The human officers watched in awe as alien fleets formed a massive spiral around the Horizon Dawn. Humanity, once outnumbered and underestimated, now commanded an entire armada of free species. Major Dren exhaled slowly. "I never thought I'd see this day," Elena nodded. Neither did they. She turned toward the central holomap. "Prepare Phase 2 of Operation Dawnfire. We take the fight to Atheron Prime." The galaxy trembled as the Coalition fleet began its journey. Across empty space, they moved like a storm. Hundreds of ships folded through wormholes, emerging in synchronized patterns. The light of their engines painted the void in brilliant white and gold. In every vessel, soldiers, human and alien alike, prepared in silence. Some whispered prayers. Others checked their weapons. All knew this might be the final stand. Inside the Horizon Dawn, Elena walked through the hangar bay. Rows of soldiers saluted her as she passed. Humans beside Threxians, four beside Krael. They all wore the same symbol now, a golden circle with a white flame, the mark of unity. One young soldier, barely 20, stepped forward. "Commander," he said, "is it true what they say? That this isn't just about revenge?" Elena paused, then placed a hand on his shoulder. "Revenge starts wars," she said quietly, "but justice ends them." Hours later, the Coalition fleet arrived at the edge of the Valkaran home system. Atheron Prime glowed in the distance, a beautiful world of silver oceans and crystal continents. But around it orbited death, thousands of Valkaran warships, dark and sharp like knives in space. "Fleet in position," reported Harris. "We're outnumbered 3-1. Elena smiled faintly. "So were we at Earth." Athena's voice came through softly. "Enemy formations detected. They are powering planetary shields." "Then we break them," Elena said. She turned to her officers. "Activate the Dark Matter Array." The ship's core began to pulse with blue-white light. Every dreadnought in the human fleet synchronized. Waves of gravitational energy rippled outward, distorting the stars themselves. And then, silence. For one heartbeat, space went still. Then came the blast. Invisible shockwaves tore through the Valkaran defenses, bending their shields like paper. Dozens of alien cruisers imploded under the weight of their own gravity. The fleet's comms erupted with cheers. "Their shields are down. We're breaking through." Elena's command echoed through every ship. "Push forward. No retreat." The Coalition fleet surged ahead, weapons blazing. Plasma bolts, quantum lances, and kinetic missiles filled the void. The battle became chaos, light and shadow colliding. In the middle of the storm, the Horizon Dawn cut through the enemy lines like a blade. Elena stood firm, giving orders with calm precision. Major Dren's screen flickered with energy readings. "Commander, the Dominion flagship is powering something massive." Athena analyzed instantly. "Energy buildup equivalent to a stellar ignition. They're attempting to trigger their own star." Elena's eyes widened. "They'd destroy their own system just to stop us." "Exactly," said Dren. "Not if we stop them first," she replied. She activated the fleet-wide channel. "All ships, this is Commander Voss. The Valkaran plan to ignite their star. If they succeed, millions will die. We end this now," the Coalition answered in one unified voice, "and for freedom." The final assault began. Human dreadnoughts surrounded the enemy flagship, firing in synchronized bursts. Alien allies launched waves of interceptors that swarmed through the Dominion defenses. Inside the Valkaran command ship, Serthal watched in disbelief as his empire burned. "No," he whispered. "This cannot be." The lights around him flickered. His last transmission echoed across the fleet. "You may win the stars, humans, but you will never understand order." And then his ship erupted in blue flame, the explosion visible from orbit. The moment his flagship fell, the rest of the Dominion's ships broke formation. Some fled, some surrendered, some simply powered down, their crews abandoning the fight. The war that had lasted centuries ended in minutes. When the last weapon fell silent, the Horizon Dawn drifted among the debris. The galaxy was quiet again, but this time it wasn't fear. It was peace. Major Dren approached Elena slowly. "It's over," he said. Elena looked out at the stars, at the endless shining horizon. "No," she said softly. "It's only beginning. We've freed the galaxy. Now we have to guide it." Athena's voice hummed gently. Commander, incoming transmissions from dozens of worlds. They're asking for leadership, a new alliance. Elena smiled faintly. Then we'll build one, not of rulers and slaves, but of equals. She turned toward the stars. The fire of Earth reflected in her eyes. This is humanity's uprising, she whispered, and we'll make sure it never fades. The fires of Atheron Prime still burned. The once proud capital of the Galactic Dominion now drifted in silence. Its towers shattered, its fleets gone. The galaxy had changed, and every world knew who had done it. Humanity. Commander Elena Voss stood at the center of the Horizon Dawn's bridge, surrounded by quiet screens showing the aftermath. The Coalition fleet floated in orbit. Thousands of ships from dozens of races. What had once been enemies were now allies under one banner, but victory did not feel like peace. Major Dren approached carefully. The Valkyran survivors are requesting terms, he said. They're offering their surrender. Elena didn't respond immediately. Her eyes stayed fixed on the blue planet below, the Dominion's world. She thought of the children who had been stolen, of the lives lost, and of the millions who had suffered under their rule. Athena's voice broke the silence. Commander, their homeworld cities are defenseless. We could wipe them out completely in one strike. The officers on deck waited. Everyone knew what she was thinking. Revenge was one command away, but humanity had been here before, in wars, in grief, in rage. And every time they had learned the same truth. Vengeance was easy, but it didn't heal. Elena took a slow breath. No, she said finally. We won't burn them. We'll do what they never could. Show mercy. Dren frowned. Mercy? After everything they did? Elena turned to him, her expression firm but calm. That's what makes us human, Major. We don't become monsters to destroy monsters. The message was sent. To the shock of the galaxy, Earth accepted the Valkyran surrender. Across the Coalition fleets, reactions were mixed. Some cheered. Others demanded vengeance. On Threxia, crowds shouted for retribution. On Vor, soldiers slammed their fists against steel walls, wanting justice through fire. But when Elena appeared on the galactic broadcast, her words quieted them all. The Valkyran Dominion is no more, she said. Its fleets have fallen, its chains are broken. But if we replace their tyranny with our hatred, then nothing changes. We are not conquerors. We are survivors, builders, protectors. Let this be the day the galaxy remembers not our fury, but our humanity. Her speech rippled through the stars. Even the Valkyran, once proud and cruel, watched in silence. For the first time, they saw what true strength looked like, not destruction but restraint. Weeks passed. The new alliance, was now called the Galactic Accord, began forming under Earth's guidance. Thousands of ships carried food, medicine, and supplies to worlds that had been enslaved for centuries. Human engineers helped rebuild alien cities, while scientists shared technology once hidden from the galaxy. The universe that had once ignored Earth now turned toward it for leadership. Inside the Horizon Dawn, Elena sat alone in her quarters reading a small hollow letter. It was from one of the rescued children from Vareth 9. Dear Commander Voss, thank you for bringing us home. I don't remember my parents, but I remember you. You told us Earth never forgets its children. I want to be like you when I grow up. Someone who fights, but not with hate. Someone who protects. Thank you for saving us. Elena smiled faintly. For the first time in years, she allowed herself to breathe without the weight of war. Athena's hologram flickered beside her. You should rest, Commander. The Council summit begins tomorrow. I will, Elena said quietly. But not yet. There's something I need to see. Hours later, she stood at the viewing deck watching the galaxy through the glass. The stars looked different now, brighter, somehow closer. Major Dren joined her. You think this peace will last? Elena didn't answer at first. Peace never lasts, she said. But hope does. And right now that's enough. He nodded. You changed everything, Commander. Elena shook her head. No, humanity did. We just reminded the galaxy what it means to fight for something real. In the far reaches of space, deep beyond the galactic rim, something ancient stirred. A signal. Faint, mechanical, buried in forgotten code. Activated for the first time in 10,000 years. Unknown transmission detected, Athena reported suddenly. Origin of beyond mapped space. Encryption. Human. Elena turned sharply. Human? From where? Athena paused. Coordinates indicate a pre-Exodus colony, lost before the first expansion. The bridge fell silent. A forgotten human world, one no one had known existed, had just reached out. Elena smiled faintly. Then maybe, she said softly, our story isn't over yet. On the next sunrise, Earth and its allies gathered in the grand chamber of the new Galactic Accord. Species from every corner of the stars stood together under one banner. At the center stood Commander Elena Voss, representing the planet that had once been forgotten, now the heart of the galaxy's hope. She raised the flag of Earth, white, gold and blue, and the chamber erupted in light. From the ashes of war, she declared, we rise not as conquerors but as one. The cheers echoed through the stars. For the first time, the galaxy felt united. Not through fear, not through control, but through something greater, through humanity. The camera of history would forever remember this moment, not as the day the humans won, but as the day they chose mercy over power, the day the galaxy learned what it truly meant to be human. And as the horizon dawn sailed once more into the infinite light, Elena's final words echoed across the cosmos like a promise. We were overlooked once. Never again. 1,000 years had passed since the war that changed the stars. The galaxy no longer trembled under the shadow of empires. Instead, light and life filled the void. Planets once enslaved now thrived as free worlds. Starships carried trade, not war, and at the center of it all stood Earth. Once ignored, once underestimated, Earth had become the beating heart of the Galactic Accord. Its blue oceans and green lands were no longer symbols of isolation but of balance. Every species, no matter how distant, spoke one truth in quiet reverence. Never forget what the humans did. On a quiet morning, inside the grand archives orbiting the rebuilt Earth, a young alien historian named Kale drifted between ancient holographic records. His translucent hands brushed against glowing memory files. Each one contained stories from long before his birth. He stopped at one, marked only with 2 words: The Reckoning. Curious, he activated it. The air shimmered and the image of a woman appeared. Her uniform simple, her expression calm, her eyes filled with purpose. Commander Elena Voss, the archive identified. Kale listened as the old recording played. Elena's voice echoed softly through the chamber. Mercy isn't weakness. Mercy is power, the kind only the brave can carry. The young historian froze. He had read the name before, but hearing her voice felt different. Alive, human, timeless. Later that day, Kale traveled to Earth's surface. It was his first visit. The planet was more beautiful than the archives described. Blue skies, endless seas, the scent of rain and life everywhere. He followed a narrow path up a mountain near the coast, where a monument stood beneath the open sky. It was simple, a circular ring of white stone, etched with the names of every species who fought in the Great Uprising. At the center stood a single statue, not of a ruler or god, but of a woman looking toward the stars. Her hands were open, not clenched. Her gaze was calm, not proud. Commander Elena Voss. Kale bowed his head, whispering the words written on the base of the monument. For every child taken, we gave them hope. For every star they darkened, we brought light. The wind carried his voice across the grasslands, and for a moment, he thought he could almost hear the echo of distant engines, as if the horizon dawn still sailed somewhere beyond the sky. Far across the galaxy, in the outer rim, a new expedition launched. A massive ship, sleek and silver-white, rose from a rebuilt shipyard orbiting Threxia Prime. Its name, Erebus II. Inside, Captain Lyra Hahn, a descendant of Earth's first explorers, walked across the deck with a quiet smile. Around her stood a crew of many worlds, Threxians, Vor, Krail, and humans, all wearing the same insignia, a golden flame inside a blue circle. Athena's voice, as now restored and evolved, filled the ship with calm light. Coordinates locked, Captain. Destination beyond the galactic rim. Estimated travel time unknown. Lyra took her seat. Engage when ready. Engines flared. Space bent. The Erebus II vanished into the dark, heading toward the uncharted stars where the ancient human signal had been found a millennium ago. Some said it was only a myth. Others believed it was something greater, a sign that humanity's story wasn't finished. Back on Earth, night fell. In the sky above the ocean, thousands of lights shimmered, the orbital cities glowing like constellations. Children of 100 species played in the parks below, their laughter echoing through the wind. None of them knew the fear their ancestors once felt. None of them remembered chains or slavery, but they all learned the same lesson in their schools, from the same words etched into history. Humanity did not rise because it was the strongest. Humanity rose because it refused to kneel. In the quiet halls of the Galactic Museum, a group of students gathered around an ancient piece of glass, the cracked visor of Commander Elena Voss's old armor, preserved behind crystal. A guide, an old human woman with kind eyes, smiled gently at them. "This visor," she said softly, "saw the end of an empire. But more importantly, it saw the beginning of hope. Humanity didn't save the galaxy through fear. We saved it through forgiveness." A small alien child raised its hand. "Did the humans ever fight again?" The guide thought for a moment. "We did, but not for power. We fought only when others needed us, and that's what made all the difference." The children nodded silently, their wide eyes reflecting the stars outside the window. Centuries later, as the galaxy continued to grow and new civilizations rose, a strange signal still echoed in the deep void, a faint rhythmic pulse. When translated, it contained only 3 words: "We are here." No one knew where it came from. Some said it was a transmission from the Erebus II, still exploring beyond known space. Others believed it was something older, something eternal. But every time the signal returned, it reminded the galaxy of one thing, that humanity's spirit could never fade. On the anniversary of the Great Uprising, the Galactic Accord gathered once more on Earth. Leaders from thousands of worlds stood beneath the monument of Commander Voss. The sky above shimmered with fleets flying in formation, a silent tribute to the ones who came. Before the new High Chancellor, a young human named Elena Voss stepped forward. He was her descendant, her echo. He spoke only a few words, but they carried across the stars. "They enslaved our children once. We freed their worlds forever. Let this galaxy never forget what it means to be human." And as the fleet saluted and the light of dawn rose over Earth's oceans, the galaxy itself seemed to whisper back. 1,000 voices, 1,000 worlds united. We remember, in the vastness of the universe, the echo of humanity traveled endlessly, not as a roar of war but as a heartbeat, a promise that no matter how far the stars stretched, somewhere, humanity's light would always endure. And so it was written across every world, in every tongue across every age. Once overlooked, the humans became the galaxy's greatest fear and its greatest hope.